everyone! Last week I posted a video of my top 10 blushes, 5 cream and 5 powder, and you guys really enjoyed it, and I got a few requests to do bronzers and highlights. I went ahead and combined my favorite bronzers and highlights into one video, the video you're watching now. I wasn't going to be able to find 10 bronzers and 10 highlights that were my favorite, so I went ahead and just did 5 of my favorite bronzers and my top 5 favorite highlights. Going to go ahead and start with my bronzers. I'm not going to do a rating system. I did not do a rating system in my blush video. However, my Becca Sunlit bronzer is my favorite bronzer of all time, hands down. Specifically in the shade Bronzed Bondi, I have already been through one of these. I feel like this color is just so amazing on my skin tone. The bronzer's also super buttery, super creamy, very beautiful on the skin, a perfect bronze shade. It looks like this. There's a little bit of satin to it. I love a bronzer that has a little bit of satin to it. I don't like a shimmery bronzer. Well, I don't hate a shimmery bronzer. I definitely will wear one and enjoy the look of it, but my preferred bronzer texture is something that has a little bit of satin in it. There are like trace amounts of gold shimmer, but overall it's pretty much just a matte satin bronzer, and it looks so gorgeous on the skin. I love it. This really is hands down my all-time favorite bronzer. So yeah, love this bronzer, will forever own it and be repurchasing it till probably the end of time. My next favorite bronzer is unfortunately the Shantakai Bronzer. This bronzer is the Real Bronzer in Serena. I had called it Sienna before. I just glanced at the name and just assumed it was Sienna, but no, there's an R in there. Serena, I'm pretty sure, is what this bronzer is called. This bronzer is so gorgeous. Talk about butter. Talk about a buttery bronzer. This is what the Shantakai bronzer looks like. It has a very, very similar finish to the Becca bronzer, honestly. Becca bronzer is like half the price of the Shantakai bronzer. This bronzer is like 80 bucks. It's so outrageously expensive. It was sent to me. I don't really know. No. I definitely would not spend $80 on a bronzer, that's just fact, but I do happen to own it because it was very generously gifted to me by Shantakai, and it is, quite frankly, one of my favorite bronzers in my collection. So yeah, it had to be in this video. I had to put it in this video. It's so freaking gorgeous. It looks so good on the skin. It's like drool worthy. It really is drool worthy. Just watch my Shantakai full face video. You'll see this bronzer in action and you'll recognize why it is so dreamy. It really is such a beautiful bronzer. The next bronzer I have is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Give Me Sun. This is definitely like a YouTuber made me buy it kind of product. I definitely bought this because Desi Perkins uses it, or she did use it. I don't really watch Desi Perkins too much anymore, but that is what the bronzer looks like on my skin. It is a little bit light for me right now. It definitely does look like a really nice all over color for me in the summer, but it really works as a nice bronzer, more so in the winter time. So that's typically when I like to use it. This bronzer though on me is just so smooth looking. It makes my skin really look almost perfected in a way just because of the texture. It goes on so smooth. It looks really like almost airbrushed on the skin. So I really do love the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Give Me Sun. My next favorite bronzer is the e.l.f. bronzer in Perpetually Tan. It is the bronzer I'm wearing right now. It looks so nice on the skin. It always blends out really beautiful. It is more matte than the other bronzers that I have. However, it goes on so super smoothly. That's the e.l.f. bronzer right there. I'm kind of surprised it's showing up so light on the skin because it definitely shows up very nice and a little bit more deep on my face. But I really like this bronzer and I think it's a great bronzer from the drugstore. The last bronzer I have to share is my Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Mocha. Seriously guys, I'm sure you already know this. This is the most phenomenal cream bronzer money can buy, happens to be at the drugstore, a major plus. In my opinion, this beats any other cream bronzer that I've ever tried. I like it better than the Fenty bronzer, I like it better than the Milk Makeup Stick bronzer, I like it better than my Nude Sticks bronzer. Granted, I overall do also like this shade better than all of those bronzers, which could probably help in just like the appearance of it overall on my skin. But this shade specifically works so well for me in Mocha. It is so creamy and beautiful, and oh my god, it just looks so freaking good on the skin. It's so easy to blend out and it looks so perfect as a cream bronzer on my skin, on my complexion. I just love it so much. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite bronzers and definitely the favorite cream bronzer. So next, moving on to my highlights, I'm going to start with the two highlights that aren't from Becca because the other three highlights are from Becca Cosmetics. The first highlighter being my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. This is an all-time favorite of mine. It's probably my oldest highlight in my collection as well. This even happens to be the old MAC packaging. Soft and Gentle just gives off such a beautiful highlight to the skin. It's so dreamy, it's like wet. It's like a wet highlighter, which I freaking love. It looks good on my skin tone. It's showing up a little bit like silvery almost. It doesn't look like that on the skin. In my opinion, it does not look silvery on me. But yeah, it is just so pretty. It is one of those classic highlights and it is one of my favorites. My next favorite highlight is from Essence. This is the Pure Nude highlighter in the shade Be My Highlight. I love this highlight. It is a really amazing, like, everyday highlight. It's much different than the Soft and Gentle, as you're about to see. It's much more tame and subtle. It's more of like a glow from within. It's, oh my god, yeah. I love highlights. These are really pretty. Just how reflective and light catching they are. They're fun. But yeah, the Essence Be My Highlight is a great everyday highlighter. It's super subtle. It's good for a natural makeup look. Or I also really like wearing sort of baked bronzers like this if I'm going to be going out to like a nighttime dinner where I am dressing up a little bit more, possibly getting flash photography taken of me. And I always find these types of highlights to be most flattering in flash photography because the flash won't pick up on any shimmer or any glitter that like is misplaced because it's so subtle and it doesn't have those aspects of like shimmery pieces or glittery pieces. Whereas even though the MAC Soft and Gentle highlight is super beautiful, it does happen to have some larger pieces of, you know, shimmer and just pigment like that. The last three highlighters are from Becca. I just think Becca makes phenomenal highlights. They always try and like dabble into other forms of makeup like lipsticks and complexion products, or I mean like more foundations and concealers because highlights and bronzers are complexion products. But I totally think that if Becca just wanted to exclusively go to bronzers and highlighters and maybe their primers are pretty good, I think that they could manage to sustain their brand that way just because their highlighters are so freaking good and their Sunlit bronzer is like my favorite bronzer of all time. So yeah, let's just get into these guys. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed and this one is in Champagne Pop. I really like the color of it. This was my first Becca highlight. Obviously bought it because of Miss Jaclyn Hill. This bronzer is, oh my god. Oh my god. It is so gorgeous. It almost looks to be like a hybrid of a more subtle baked bronzer and something a little bit more intense and blinding just because it is so smooth and buttery but it has a lot of pop and shine to it. I also think that this color, the Champagne Pop color, looks really great on my skin tone, which is just, you know, super nice, obviously. As far as my favorite cream highlight goes, I love the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Poured, and this is in the shade Opal. I don't even know if they still sell this anymore. I know that at my Ulta store we do not have it. And I do believe I've seen it on sale a few times, like maybe on the Becca website or on Sephora or something. If I can find it, I will leave it linked down below. But I love this as a cream highlight. It just looks so super natural on the skin. It catches the light really nicely. It's so super smooth. It doesn't feel like anything on the skin. It's not super like Vaseline feeling where it's going to remain sticky throughout the day. It just really meshes well with your skin and any makeup that you have on underneath of it, and I just love it. I love the consistency of it. I love the color of it. It's just an amazing cream highlighter, and I really hope people can still buy it. I'll have to look into that. And then lastly, I have the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid. This one is in the shade Champagne Pop. I have gone through like the travel sizes of the Opal version of this, but Champagne Pop is just equally as gorgeous. But here's what the Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid looks like in Champagne Pop. It's just super beautiful, really natural on the skin. The reason why I like the liquid version of this as well is because it's a really great mixing medium, so you can mix it in with a moisturizer, an SPF, or a foundation to make it a little bit more glowy or even like tinted moisturizer like. It's just such a beautiful, versatile product. You get a ton of product in this tube. For example, typical foundations are about 1 ounce, and this is 1.7 ounces. A lot of the times these do go on sale at Ulta, so definitely watch out for that. So those are my top 5 favorite bronzers and my top 5 favorite highlighters. Let me know what your top 5 favorite bronzers and your top 5 favorite highlighters are, or just favorite highlighters and favorite bronzers in general. Just let me know. I'd love to hear them, and let me know what you guys think about my picks down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I see you next time.